podcast.
Curfew is in full effect. Everyone lock your doors and don't answer after midnight. Early on Wednesday episodes are about to be released.
Tell us about your encounters with Early on Wednesday.
Ladies, this is Natasha with Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. You guys are great. I mean, you're funny. You're very interactive with people, both on the pod and through social media. And your guys' detail in your episodes is great.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Stacey and Lavender keep you very engaged in the topic.
And you guys make me laugh throughout my day when I'm having a crappy day.
You heard it here first. Stay safe out there, ghouls.
Welcome to the What the Fuck Is That podcast, where we ask the age-old question of what the fuck is that? I'm your host, Jess.
I'm Jen.
And we're back, bitches! And I'm honestly impressed that I remembered the intro that well.
There you go. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Hot minute.
Jeez.
And did you like our new theme song, which we have not fully decided at the time of this recording, but it'll be there, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
Got a new theme in, got a new theme song. New, I was trying to think of something cool to say, something new us, but the words were not coming. New.
I wish that we had a visual for everyone to see, because those spastic moves, my man.
What?
Oh,
in the hood.
jeez. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. You guys missed this, I'm sure. Yeah, so we had shit hit the fan, and then more shit hit the fan, and then everything caught on fire. So now here we are, back and better than ever, question mark?
That's a very big question mark, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, this still doesn't come out for like over a month, but here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we're back, so at least that's better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
mean, at least we didn't just disappear.
Right? We're not eating Easter candy anymore, so that's good.
That's
through
true.
all that. I feel like that was a good, 3-4 episode arc that we were getting through all that Easter candy.
Dude, we really were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took us a while to get through that candy.
There was so much fucking candy. Jesus. Because I was re-listening back to some episodes, and we kept talking about the candy. I'm like, how much fucking candy did we consume during these episodes?
A lot.
Yeah, we got through a lot of that candy. I think I still had to throw some out.
I think so too. Yeah.
By the time everything was done, I was like, no. And I'm tired of looking at this. Oh, but yeah, so hopefully we sound better too, because we are in a new recording space.
Yep.
And we figured out that Jenny's mic was fucked up with the cable, so we got a new cable, and
it took how fucking long?
Yeah, we were just saying, I don't know how many episodes we went with a fucked up cable, because at one point I just thought her settings were weird and I just had to edit differently, and I'm like, okay, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, come to find out, her entire cable just fucking failed, so we were just recording on one microphone and her fucking laptop.
Yeah.
So that's that. So that's not great, but
Is what it is.
I'm hoping this makes editing easier.
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I guess. We'll find out very soon. So, yeah. Don't really want to do too long of an introduction, even though it's our first one back, because this is a super, super long story.
One that you've been talking about forever.
For months. I've been working on this for months. When I say months,
literally
the whole year. I have been working on this for the whole year.
Yeah, basically.
So this is my baby, and I'm glad that it'll be our first episode back, because oh baby, she's a doozy. This one that I'm doing and my next story, because they go together.
Yeah.
And they are fucking doozies.
It's a lot.
everything's connected.
Woo.
So if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram. Our Instagram is WTFisthatpod. Over there you'll find updates, you'll find little pictures, you'll find announcements of all the episodes that are coming up. And also you can find the link to our Linktree, which has like our Patreon and the links to all the places to listen to us. You can also listen on a video format on YouTube, which is also pretty spectacular. And then you can also follow us on all the things, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. The very best way to help our podcast grow is just by word of mouth and sharing us with your friends. So if you are just chilling out and you're on a rabbit hole of things and you go, I really need something to turn my brain off, and you turn on WTF Is That, and you also know your other friend is on a rabbit hole of things, because let's be real, friends with rabbit holes tend to make other friends with rabbit holes, and you're just like, hey, I know you probably need a brain break too, so you should check out this podcast. And then they just spread it to another friend who's on a rabbit hole, and they just, spread it around like a bad STD, but and that just helps our podcast grow, just like STDs.
The fuck is wrong with you?
With that, let's get into this week's episode. We took a break and devolved. Anyways, let's get into this week's episode. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jess.
Have you ever heard of the purple people?
What the fuck are the purple people?
Oh, thank you so much. I would love to tell you.
All right, let's drop in for this ride.
So yeah, today we're talking about the purple people, also known as Lafayette Morehouse, which is like their actual name, but that's not as fun as purple people.
Yeah.
Let's be fucking for real.
I like how our lights are purple.
It was theming, my guy. I did it for a reason. When we do a murder, it'll be red. Kidnapping is orange. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
Paranormal is
green.
Green?
Mm-hmm.
Why not blue or white?
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. Alien abductions are light blue.
Alien abductions should be green.
No! So the purple people is just an additional name that they're called because these people wear purple clothes, they drive purple cars, they have purple houses, and it's meant to show that they are different from the rest of the world. Like, their whole thing is like, you're showing up to somewhere very strange when you see purple houses, and it's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that's really odd. I don't think I've ever seen a purple house.
It's weird when you have, because, spoiler alert, I have, because I saw the commune. I wasn't supposed to go that far, but I did. But it's weird. It's fucking weird. And it's a very specific purple. Okay, so I want to start this off. We said earlier in the episode that I have been researching this the entire year.
Yeah.
Even with me researching this the entire year, it is still a bitch and a half to find information.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So this borderline cult, to me, it's kind of a cult. They go by a commune, but whatever. So anyways, this place
Still sounds like a cult.
We'll see at the end. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll go over it all.
Okay.
But they're in the Bay Area.
Right.
Lafayette's a very, very expensive place in the Bay Area. One of the most expensive zip codes to live in.
Yeah.
A lot of their members are tech people who have the ability to scrub things from the internet.
Makes sense.
So I was literally pulling records on things, looking up individual people's names that I would find mentioned in random articles or cases, literally nitpicked my way through this information because no one really talks about them.
Yeah. I didn't hear about them until you.
Which is insane because they've been in operation since the 60s.
That's wild.
Literally, I've heard 3 other podcasts talk about them. One of them was really good. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'll link it in the show notes. One of them briefly mentioned Lafayette Morehouse, but it was mostly about Nicole Daedone and One Taste, which we're going to cover on my next case.
Okay.
And then the other one was like promoting it because people in it were guest hosts on the episode. It was really weird. But anyways.
That's interesting.
That's it. 3. That's all I could find. Which again, fucking crazy because they've been around since the 60s. And people in the area know that they exist, but not really anything else about them. The Morehouse is a free love commune, again in the Bay Area, so San Francisco area for people who don't know.
Free love?
A free love commune.
Okay.
So sex commune.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, I got that.
Did you get it?
I got
About
it.
sex.
I got
They
it.
like fucking.
I picked up what you put down.
So I actually found out about this from my partner who lived in the Bay Area, and he again was saying that people don't know about this.
Yeah.
There's a Vantage Point that is a big place for teenagers to go and look at it, but people don't know really anything about it. So again, maybe cult, maybe commune, definitely full of crazy batshitness.
Solid.
Batshitness, that's a good word. So usually I like to just jump into leaders of these sorts of things because it's really interesting to see how their mind works.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can't do that with this one. I have to tell more about what the Morehouse is in general.
Okay.
Because it's not a known cult. It's not Branch Davidians or something like that where people know for the most part what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not a religious cult.
Okay.
So Morehouse was originally established in 1968 in Lafayette, California. Again, one of the richest zip codes in California.
Yeah.
They are a commune that practices responsible hedonism. I know, those words don't go together, but you know, they did it.
Responsible.
Which, I mean, like, I guess because you can't have this shit without consent. So, like, hedonism in general should be responsible because consent is important.
I just liked how that's how they describe themselves.
Responsible hedonists, yeah. It sounds oxymoronic, but then you really think about it and you're like, it all should be because consent's important. But sure.
But sure.
Their main philosophy is the More philosophy, which is that I am perfect, you are perfect, and the universe is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like trouble at all for anything bad to happen.
Yeah.
No, I'm perfect. Everything I do is fine. It's good. Okay.
It's like, yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
We'll see how that goes. They sell different courses on sex and sexuality. Do you want to guess how much their cheapest course was?
Like $200?
More.
Seriously?
Yes.
How much?
$500 for the cheapest course.
Christ.
And it's the cheapest course, and you have to take this course before you can take any other of their courses.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's
Insanity.
Wild.
The commune also runs on a one no vote system. So essentially, if they have a matter and one person vetoes it, that's it, they're done. And it's an irrevocable no vote.
Really?
Yeah, which they say makes things more peaceful, but I can see that going very wrong.
Oh, yeah.
In like a bullying kind of way to get what you want, but you know, they say it works, so yeah, okay. Again, most of this information that I found is from their website.
Yeah.
But you can't just go to their website to find shit. You have to like go in a back way after looking shit up to then find all this because their website is broken.
That's interesting.
Coincidence?
I think not.
I think not! So now that we kind of went over the basics of what Lafayette Morehouse and the Purple People are, let's get into the man who started it all, Victor Baranco.
Okay.
He went by Vic, so I'm going to call him Vic for most of it, because it feels, after all my research, it feels weird to call him Victor now. Everyone calls him Vic. Everything is Vic.
Okay.
So I just want to say it again. Like I said before, it is so hard to find shit. But here we go. This is kind of what I've pieced together from multiple sources. So Vic was born to Wilbur Baranco, who was an African-American man and a Jewish mother. That's all it says. It gives his dad's name, but just says a Jewish mother.
That's it.
I looked so many places to try to find his mom's name. Everywhere just says a Jewish mother.
All right.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck it. Okay. And Vic was born in 1934 in the Bay Area. His parents were well-known musicians in Oakland, California, which is where he grew up. His father was a jazz artist, and he said his parents were magnificently obsessed with music.
Okay, I like that, how he describes that.
Magnificently obsessed. This man is a wordsmith.
Huh. Well, I mean, I guess he should be if he's a leader of the cult.
Can we also talk about how these big leaders of things like cults, because again, I'm not fully calling it a cult right now, but of things like cults, are involved in music somehow?
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
David Koresh was big into music.
So is Charles Manson.
He literally wanted to be a rock star.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's other ones, but those were my immediate two, and I'm like, two's a coincidence, three's a pattern.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that pattern is or why they all go together, but they seemingly do, so here we are. So while Vic said his parents took good care of him, they would always just have their attention drawn back to music instead of him. So music was like the first child, and he was the forgotten second child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, and while his parents seemed like to like each other pretty all right, because they were married for 51 years, they got married and divorced twice during that 51 years.
Jeez.
Vic called their marriage the most miserable in the world.
Then why did you marry her multiple times?
No, he's describing his parents' marriage, yeah.
Why? Okay, I was like, why would his father say that?
But he said that he believed that they only stayed together because of their obsession for music, so they were music whores.
Got you.
Yeah. Vic was kind of a jack-of-all-trades type of people, and a lot of those trades included being able to manipulate people. Because he was
Of course.
Because he was a salesman and a phony jewelry peddler. His words, a phony jewelry peddler.
Well, at least he admitted it.
Supposedly, he found a gift in himself for therapy and human transformation after participating in a CIA-sponsored LSD experiment.
What?
So this whole thing with the CIA is a little bit weird because LSD will come back.
Okay.
Ironically enough, LSD makes another account in the story.
Well, I mean, it kind of naturally makes sense. I mean,
if you're going to
cults,
try LSD, you're just going to be on LSD. That's
Exactly.
fuck it. At some point during all this, Vic gets married to his first wife, Susie, and has 2 kids.
Okay.
Again, it's hard to find shit. So all I have is that at some point he married Susie and had some kids with her.
That's
apparently. That's all I know.
Okay.
It just happened and it's there. Vic knew that for making money, real estate was the soundest investment. He had bought old rundown homes in Oakland, lived in them, fixed them up, and then sold them for profit. This was until he figured out a new plan, because let's remember, he likes to talk people and is a very good manipulator into getting people to do things.
I was going to say, I was like, he literally knows he's great at manipulating people.
Yeah, so he bought an old decrepit Victorian at a dead-end street in Oakland, populated it with some hippie fugitives, And he told them they could live in the house if they would repair it.
Hippie fugitives.
That's what it said in this article that I read. It was very specific. I don't know what they were fugitives of, but they were quote unquote hippie fugitives.
Hippies. Okay.
Yeah, so
solid.
Fuck it. Great. It took them a little over a year to repair the house. Meanwhile, Vic and his wife and children are living in a comfortable Lafayette home, just watching their investment appreciate.
Okay.
I mean, great. Okay, great. Love that for you.
Yeah.
At the time of a 1971 Rolling Stones article, it said, today there are 6 restored homes at the Dead End Street alone, and 10 more in Oakland, Lafayette, Berkeley, San Francisco, San Jose, Los Angeles, and Hawaii. Me interjecting, all very rich areas.
Yup.
With 4 more in the works, and about 160 people who are full-time residents. A resident pays $200 a month resident fee, which entitles him to room and board, parties, love, affection, and the opportunity to restore dilapidated houses for free.
What?
Yeah. And there are several more people who are members of Vic's corporation, which owns these homes, renovated and paid for by the rent from the many more people. So he's essentially buying up these houses.
Yeah.
And having people renovate them, saying this is an opportunity for you.
Essentially for free.
But they're doing the work.
No, I know. I'm
and
saying
still
like
paying
he's
for
getting.
rent.
Yeah, I'm saying he's getting it for free. Like
and
they're
getting
renovating.
paid
Yeah, they're
for
renovating.
them to renovate it.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, fucking brilliant. But what the fuck? I mean, I guess, but also, what kind of fuckery is this?
Hey, I mean, figured out how to cheat the system.
In the early 1960s, Vic and Susie began researching how to improve their sex life. Although Vic was content with his life, he wasn't obsessed with anything. Which, okay. They had been to multiple psychiatrists, but no one saw anything wrong. They couldn't find anything that was going on that would be an issue with their sex life.
Okay.
Physically speaking or mentally speaking.
Okay.
By 1968, they opened the first commune called Oakland Morehouse. Later on, Vic was given a 17-acre land in Lafayette, which he named the Lafayette Morehouse in 1968. I'm sorry. Who is just gifting you 17 acres in Lafayette, California?
Right?
I've said it 3 times, and I'm going to say it again. This is the wealthiest zip code. $1 million homes.
Yeah.
And somebody is gifting you?
Yeah, that's clearly someone with a lot of money.
17 acres? Oh, we'll get into some of the people later. Don't we worry about it. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it.
Solid.
Again, I did so much research for this. It's a problem. I had a hard time picking and choosing what was going to go in and what was just going to remain in my little head noggin.
Your head noggin.
My little head noggin.
Okay.
There was just so much batshit crazy that I'm like, how long do I really want this episode to be?
Oh, gosh.
So again, Vic's not obsessed with anything. He said his life lacked magnificent obsession. That was until he turned 42 and met his second wife, Cindy. In his words, he had that flash to perfection and came up with that belief of you're perfect and the world is perfect and you're responsible for your life.
Gross, but okay.
Weird, but okay. Now let's get into Cindy a bit because, spoiler alert, Vic's dead now.
Huh.
And Cindy is his successor and current leader of the commune.
And that's his first wife?
This is his second wife.
This is his second wife, okay.
Yes.
So what happened to the first?
Bitch, I don't know. I would love to know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think she's living in Hawaii.
You think?
I think.
Okay.
I found one briefest of mention about her and Hawaii, so I don't know if she's still there. I know they must be divorced, legally speaking, because he's legally married to Cindy.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. I don't know anything about what happened to her. I don't even know if she's alive or dead, to be honest with you. I spent a good week trying to find her, and I couldn't.
Okay.
And you know my sleuthing skills.
Yes, I do.
I was not able to find her anywhere.
Okay.
So, I know she was a person that existed and was Vic's first wife, and they had 2 kids, and that's about all I know.
Okay.
And they had trouble fucking. I don't know.
All right.
So, Cindy, well, I don't know exactly when she was born. I'm guessing it would be about 1954, based off of the stories that she has posted on the Morehouse website. And in case you're bad at math like me, don't worry, I already did it for you.
Isn't that like 20 years?
Yeah, bitch, it is! It is exactly 20 years! Ding, 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 we have a winner!
Woohoo.
I'm impressed that you remembered that date from the first, because I had to keep, writing it down.
Did you really?
Yes.
I don't know why. I heard it and I was like, damn, that was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, they're exactly 20 years apart.
That's gross.
Which, again, I might be off by, a year or 2 in either direction. But she said she was 10 in 1964. So,
Huh.
yeah.
That gives me the ick.
Oh, it's going to get worse, baby. Don't worry about it.
Great.
It's going to get way worse.
Great.
Oh, okay. And again, I'm all for an age gap. Except for when it's like this. And again, this is all accounted for on their own fucking website. In Cindy's words.
The fact that it's her putting out all of this.
And trying to spin it like it's a normal thing.
Exactly. I'm like, no, that's not normal, babe.
She kept spinning it as it was the 70s and it was the hippie free love movement. No, it was weird regardless of when it happened.
Yeah.
Mainly because she was 16 when she first found out about Vic Baranco in general.
Gross.
Yeah, she was on and off living with her friend, and the friend's parents had taken the course, that basic sensuality course. Yeah, real weird.
That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
And again, I'm a very sex positive person, but there's also the fact of there are some things that kids should learn about and some things that they should not. And there's a way to do it safely. And I don't think this was. Cindy literally says on the website, and I quote, "I think a lot of who I am has to do with Vic's information having gotten to me when I was 16. So a lot of my formative years deciding who I was going to be as a human being were heavily influenced by Vic." She says like a normal fucking thing.
That what?
That's called child grooming.
Yeah.
Whether he knew he was actively doing it or not, that is called child grooming. Then you married her.
Yeah, I was like, that's brainwashing right there.
Right off the bat.
Gross.
That's things that people say about people who assaulted them as children. So yeah, we're off to a great fucking start. When Cindy was probably about 17 years old, her friend, and her friend's mom had moved into one of the Morehouses. 17.
That's concerning.
I read multiple times that this commune was very much like if you're 18, you can't participate. Clearly not, because she had taken a course at 16 or 17. She's moving into the commune at 17, maybe barely 18.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I don't think she was 18 yet.
Oh, that gives me the ick.
It's a big ick. And this is when she states she fully met Vic for the first time and started taking a few classes with him.
Okay.
So taking a sidetrack from Cindy, this still involves her because she states that she would make deals like being part-time slaves and were treated in ways I didn't like. The worst part is, I heard this mentioned multiple times. So essentially, if you were living at the Morehouse, you were expected to wear a uniform. If you were a woman living at the Morehouse, you were expected to wear a uniform that had to be, like, look nice. Your hair had to be a certain way. Your nails had to be a certain way. And you were there to essentially be a slave. Like, cook, clean, take care of Vic, all kinds of things.
No.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely not.
And I read this, I'm like, why is no one talking about this if this was the thing? And so I started asking around people who I know are in the area, and they've just kept to themselves for so long. And have the people so back-ass words that no one knew this was really going on. Because they reframe it the same way Cindy is, as, oh, it was the 60s. Oh, it's la da 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 da. It's like, no, it's weird.
It's almost like they make it seem like as if it was a privilege.
I'm pretty sure they did think it was a privilege.
Gross.
Because, mind you, at these houses, they're also paying that sum a month.
Yeah.
Or whatever, a week or a month. And they're doing the renovations.
Yeah.
They are seeing all of this as a privilege that they get to do. And it's like, no.
No, you're free labor, babe.
You're an indentured servant.
Yep.
Is what it is.
Yep.
You're not making money.
Nope.
You're paying money to live there and have room and board. And are still doing work?
Yep.
Like, fucking excuse me? And I don't know. It doesn't seem very quote-unquote free love to me. But, you know.
Yeah.
For a free love commune, this feels very much like Vic's Way or the Highway.
Yeah, it does.
Big sketch. Big sketch.
Big ick.
Big ick, big sketch. All around big, hard pass.
Yeah.
So Cindy during this time was living with her partner Anthony, and she had decided to take the Shazam course. I don't know what's included in this course. I couldn't find it, so it must have been an older course.
Okay.
Or they renamed it because they should have, because that's a ridiculous title. And
Shazam.
Shazam. Bow, bow, bow. And again, I am quoting directly from the website, directly from Cindy's own words.
I don't like this already.
It's the amount that I found just on their website. I'm like, you guys put this out. Like, granted, I had to do a little bit of digging to find it, but it's just there on your website. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, so Cindy says, I went to the Shazam because there was something wrong with my crotch, and I couldn't tell what it was. I had been to a free clinic before, and it seemed to be a continuing problem. When I told Vic about my symptoms, he said it was a yeast infection, and I needed to get done more often by my partner Anthony, at least 3 times a day. It was the most humiliating thing that had happened to me in my life up to that point. I didn't want to have my business talked about like that. My crotch being messed up is what motivated me, and I wanted to get to the bottom of this. Marilyn, did getting done like that fix it? Question mark. Cindy, yes. Marilyn, did you get other medication too? Cindy, no. Vic thought if your crotch was broken, there was a reason. What?
What?
What? So now he's a businessman? A therapist?
And a doctor?
And a doctor?
What?
What? How did you diagnose your yeast infection? What? I don't understand.
Yeah, that... all I have to say is, what?
What? I don't know. I don't understand. So Cindy and Vic were life partners for the last 27 years of his life, meaning they probably fully got together in 1975 when Vic was 42 and Cindy was, take it away, Jenny.
32?
They're 20 years apart, babe. 42 minus 20.
Oh, 22? I don't know why I thought 10.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Gross.
So weird. Like, what do you have in common at that age?
Yeah.
I just...
The 22-year-old.
Who you essentially groomed. At the end of the day, whether he did it directly or not, He groomed her. She
Yeah.
even says
Yeah.
he was a main thing in my life during formidable times in my year when I was deciding who I was as a person. So it sounds like he decided who you were as a person. The difference is, while I'm all for an age gap, mind you, I dated a man who was 18 years older than me when I was 21.
Yeah.
I didn't meet him until I was 20.
Yeah.
He wasn't a part of my quote-unquote formative years while I was discovering who I was going to be as a human being.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a weird thing that this cult commune has?
Sure.
It's this thing called what I'm assuming is Borange.
Sounds about right.
It's Borange.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure, fine. The Morehouse website says it is a concept that Vic described and named in the summer of 1976. He and Susie were the first to be boranged.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's a weird word. It's hard to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
No, it does not.
I don't know. Maybe it's a play on his last name because his last name's Baranco.
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's weird. I couldn't find anyone or anywhere that says why. That's just what it was.
All right.
As he puts it, people have rejoiced and despaired in their relationships forever. Other terms like engaged, married, anniversary, annulment, divorce, etc. are dependent upon specific circumstances. There's no term to refer to the celebration of a relationship just as it is. Yeah, so him and Susie were the first ones.
Okay.
And this is something for couples as well as groups. Because there's an account of a group of 6 that had a borange in October of 1999.
What?
Yeah, because it talks about different ones that have happened. So there was this group of 6. Some of them are 2. A good majority of them are just 2. Some of them are 3.
All right.
Yeah. So,
All right.
like, their own way of saying married or committed, I guess? Question mark? So when you talk about Lafayette Morehouse to people, there are 3 notable things that people kind of know about them besides the purple houses and golf carts and just the general fuckery.
Yeah.
The first is that Morehouse had opened their own university. This was the Moore University that was in operation from 1977 to 1997. So a good 20 years
Yeah.
that you could have gotten a degree here. They were authorized to grant degrees in Bachelor of Humanities, Masters in Communication, as well as doctoral degrees in lifestyle and sensuality.
Okay.
I want a doctoral degree in sensuality.
Of course you do.
Bitch, that sounds like a great time.
Of course you do.
I love it. Love it. Love everything about it. Want to do it. Great. Here's a little bit of the off part. The teachers were senior members of the Morehouse.
Oh.
But again, these are intelligent people who are a part of this because
This
of the
is
area
true.
that they're in. It's also just weird. It's also just
a little
weird.
bit, yeah.
Because if you're talking about senior members, you're talking about people who are highly invested in this
Yeah.
and are going to be the ones who are going to be the main backers
Yep.
of your philosophy. In 1997, California made law changes and they were no longer to run as a university. So just essentially they changed the way they did accreditation.
Yeah.
And they're like, doctorate in sensuality, hard pass. The second item is that they may or may not have given their students LSD.
Sounds like they did.
I mean, if you're saying may or may not have given them LSD, and people
Sounds
have
like
said that you
100%.
gave them LSD,
100% they did.
Yeah. So,
Well, yeah.
so quoting from the case State v. Baranco, On January 18th, 1989, police conducted a search of Morehouse, Hawaii, pursuant to a valid search warrant. While conducting a search of the defendant's bedroom, the police recovered, among other things, approximately 50 units of the drug. I don't know how to say the correct name, so I'm just going to call it LSD. Hidden in a Bible.
In a Bible?
I knew you would love that. I read it and I'm like, Jen's going to get a kick out of this. Yeah, it was hidden in a Bible and the police found it.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know how much 50 units of LSD is. I'm assuming that's a lot of LSD.
I don't know.
Vic and Cindy were supposedly making students take LSD to open their minds, and it was their sort of research into sexuality by use of LSD. But I literally couldn't find anything on this research.
Probably because it never got published.
I'm sure. But also, a lot of places refer to Vic and Cindy as doctors. I'm like, did they get a doctorate from their own university?
Probably.
Because I was reading that and I'm like, who gave them doctorates?
Probably. I can tell you that research probably isn't published because it wouldn't pass an IAB proposal.
It's also probably because they got arrested for it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so they were doing shit with LSD and sex. Finally, one of their most well-known items is, are you ready for this?
Sure.
You don't sound very sure.
Because I already know it's not going to be anything that I expect. And I'm just going to be like, okay.
Yeah. Mind you, this is a case that I love. So
exactly.
Finally, it was a demonstration of a woman in a 3-hour orgasm.
Solid.
The little wheels turning in your head of what that looked like. And don't worry, I'll tell you all about it.
Honestly, the wheels were not turning for that, at least for me.
You're like, I'm trying to get the wheels to stop turning, actually. I'm trying to not think about that. So let me tell you more about it since you don't want to think about it.
Oh, God, okay.
This demonstration happened in 1976. A woman named Diana, she'll come back later, don't worry.
Okay.
Laid on a gynecological table in front of an audience. Well, Vic essentially just got her off. They have their own special method of getting people off, but it essentially was just Vic getting her off.
For 3 hours?
So, okay, I debate how consistent this 3 hours was. Because it stated that there were plenty of rests, including cigarette breaks. And, like, I don't smoke cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
But I would definitely need a cigarette after going through all that.
For 3 hours.
For 3 hours. I don't know how consistent those 3 hours were. I don't know how long the breaks were.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it was 3 hours.
Wow. Okay.
According to Diana, when the demonstration ended, audience members immediately started having relations of their own. Just right there. Diana is still a member of the Lafayette Morehouse, and she teaches courses such as Fundamentals of Sensuality and Expansion of Sexual Potential. Which, if you're going to be the person having a 3-hour orgasm, tracks. Now let's get into some weird controversial shit, as if what I said wasn't batshit crazy enough.
Okay.
So while the Morehouse is currently run by Cindy, Vic's daughter Sugar and her husband Boris seem to be the face of all of the marketing and outreach.
Sugar and Boris.
Sugar and Boris. Would you like to know more about Sugar and Boris?
Sure.
Sugar's mom is Diana. I know. I found that out today and I lost my fucking mind. I put 2 and 2 together. So yeah, her dad is Vic and her mom is Diana from the 3-hour orgasm.
From?
The woman who was doing the 3-hour orgasm.
Oh, I thought she was like conceived there. I was like, shit, dude. I'd be like, fuck, man, could you imagine going through the fucking 3-hour orgasm while conceiving your daughter.
That's fucking fantastic. Mind you, they weren't fucking during that. It was all like outside stimulation.
Oh, okay.
Also, I didn't think of that. That's fucking hilarious. That's so funny. Oh, dude. So apparently, he just had a thing for people who are 20 years older than him or 20 years younger than him.
Gross.
Because Diana was also 20 years younger than him. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And Boris's dad?
Boris. Okay, yeah.
Was Vic's best friend.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, was Vic? And I'd be like, of course,
you're like,
this
what
would
the
happen.
fuck is happening? I would have told you that immediately. If you think I would be able to hold back that kind of information, no.
True.
No, it was Vic's best friend.
Okay.
And Boris says how essentially Vic got his parents together and convinced them to have kids, and so without Vic, he would not exist.
Okay.
So they both grew up on the commune together. Children live on the sex commune, which I'll get into later. I have a whole soapbox ready to rant.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
The two have been together since 2006, which is also the year that Sugar graduated high school. Yeah.
How old is Boris?
He is... I have it down here later. He is 5 years older than Sugar.
Okay, 5 years isn't bad. But when she's still in high school.
Except for when she's in high school.
Yeah, I was like, except for when she's still in high school. Now, not so much. But like, while she was still in high school, yeah, that's a little bit.
And I know she was still in high school because of this quote that I'm about to read you.
Okay.
Mind you, she graduated in 2006. Graduation is usually in May or June. One of the two.
Yeah.
So this quote is from their quote-unquote pre-Borange interview talking about their anniversaries. So Sugar says, "When is Cindy's birthday? That is when we made out, and that was very special, so we like to celebrate it. That was February 6th, 2006. Literally a high schooler.
Yeah.
Legit a high schooler.
Yeah.
I understand you can be 18 and be a senior in high school.
But she's still physically in high school.
Still in high school, and it's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
So back to the quote. Then the big room change happened in August 2006. So she had been graduated for month and a half.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And Boris got the room under mine. But he just stayed in my room every night.
All right. I like how I'm making these facial expressions when I know no one can see them.
It's like words are hard because when putting two and two together, mind you, I've had months to kind of ruminate on this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information.
What?
Because this means that Sugar was barely 18 and Boris was 23 when this room change conveniently happened.
Conveniently.
Conveniently. How convenient.
Of course. Of course it was that convenient.
And even though they grew up on the commune together, apparently they never saw each other in a romantic way. However, your parents were best friends.
Yeah.
And you live on a sex commune where this sort of shenanigans is promoted?
Yeah. That's a little odd.
Why are they making 2 and 2 equals 7? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's... Ugh.
So the two were born in... It's so weird to say it like that. I feel like I'm saying made-up words, which I do all the time. This one's just clunky on my tongue.
On your tongue.
On my tongue. So the two were boranged in...
Boranged.
The two were boranged on June 2nd, when Sugar was 21 and Boris was 26. Again, all for an age gap, but this also gave me the ick.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Moving on to some other weird shit. There were allegations of a young girl who had contracted an STD, if I'm remembering right, gonorrhea, and she was like 9.
Oh my god.
She was supposedly living on the commune. I couldn't find a record of it, but I've heard it mentioned several times in several articles. My biggest question, with so many adult ideas and activities being conducted so openly, how are they protecting the kids in this community?
I was about to say, I was like, how are Child Protective Services not called on this? Like,
Money,
a 9-year-old.
money.
A 9-year-old having gonorrhea, chlamydia, whatever STD it is. Like, no 9-year-old should have a fucking STD.
No, but these people have massive amounts of money, are able to pay things off, and they keep doing that reframe of, oh, it's fine, it's not weird for these reasons.
What? Wow.
But, like, also, what's the vetting process for people living on the commune?
Yeah.
Especially because for a time, the commune was an open tent space for the homeless.
Oh.
So
like, anybody could just be there.
Anybody could just be there. You're not paying attention to who's actually there. The kids are all essentially raised in a group. Not with, like, a parent figure. Some of the promotional things were saying that they let the parent or the children essentially parent themselves. And make their own decisions. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. To a point.
Yeah.
At some point, you still have to teach them, hey, some things are okay and some things are not.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What does it mean?
What
does it mean? Ah!
Get the fuck out of my head.
And, like, I'm all for being open and teaching kids about things at certain ages when they can, like, their brains are developed to understand certain sex things.
Yeah.
Teaching them so they can have safe, educated choices. But it doesn't sound like those protections or educations are being put in place.
That's so concerning.
They're just immediately being opened up to these adult ideals.
That's so concerning.
Because otherwise, why would you be ready to go like that at 18 years old?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's so weird.
Ugh. I don't like it.
So remember how I was telling you all of a sudden, like, they had a ton of money and were gifted acreage?
Yeah.
So that's where I think this man named Reese Jones kind of ties in.
Oh, I think you told me a little bit about him.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he comes up later. So I read one article saying that he was the main financial contributor.
Uh-huh.
But with the prices that they charge for the courses, I wouldn't be surprised that they're good now.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that it named him by name as a main financial contributor
Yeah.
is a little sketch. He seems to be a jack of all trades like Vic was. He started his career in tech and now seems to be pivoting to theology and lifestyle as applied on his LinkedIn, which is interesting. I was, like, reading through it and it was like tech, brain science, lifestyle, like theology. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Curiously, he has also been linked to Nicole Daedone, who was the founder of the now debunked One Taste, which I'll be covering in the next story. And that one's a doozy because it's connected to the Morehouse. But while the Morehouse was able to stay underground and keep their shit to themselves, Nicole fucked up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a whole fun thing. I can't wait to get into that one.
I like how all of this is all connected. And, like, it's a huge circle, essentially.
Dude, apparently, Morehouse has taught so many of these big, like, lifestyle and sex gurus and things.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal. The final thing that I think is kind of odd is where the commune is located, which we've kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Like I've said, I've seen the commune, kinda.
Yeah, you told me that you've seen a little bit of it.
It's weird. So to get into the actual commune, you have to take a really hard hook turn off of a one-way street. And it's a blink and you miss it kind of street because there's no signs.
They want to stay hidden.
Exactly. And they're very good at it.
That's wild. They want people to join, but they want to stay hidden.
They want to stay under the radar is what they want to do.
I mean,
they
that's
want
fair.
people to have their philosophy and give them money and quote unquote educate.
Yeah.
But they don't want people to know shit that's going on inside the commune.
That's interesting.
That's sketch.
Yeah.
That's major red flags, major sus.
100%.
When you do find this street, there are a ton of signs saying that it's private property and people are not allowed to enter. And like when I said earlier, everything is purple, everything is purple. It's fucking
So
weird. All the same shade of purple. They don't even allow delivery drivers in. The delivery drivers have to stop at the end of this long twisting driveway road thing and leave the deliveries there. They have a gatehouse and everything, like later down the road.
What?
Yeah, so literally from where the delivery drivers have to drop things off, you can't see into the commune. There's one vantage point that kind of overlooks the commune, and it's a spot frequented by bored teens. To get to it, you have to navigate this neighborhood where all the houses just kind of blend together, and finding the actual street is actually pretty hard.
Yeah.
All the houses just kind of look the same. It's this never-ending passage of neighborhoods. You essentially have to know where you're going to find it. At the end of this street is a huge dead end, and there's no houses. So essentially, there's a house here. There's a house that's kind of...
I like how you're describing this.
I'm trying to say it with words, too. There's a house that backs up to where this drop-off is that overlooks the commune. And they have a shit ton of cameras and security going on.
Yeah.
Then there's a big lot, like 2 big lots that are open. And then another house. So it's a cul-de-sac, and there's one here with the house, the back facing the street and the drop-off. Big open area where you can see the commune from a sky view, kind of. And then another house facing towards the drop-off.
Okay.
So it can see, like, people on that little cul-de-sac area.
Yeah.
If somebody is there. And like I said, people are always watching.
Yeah.
Because the way that they have these houses set up, literally, they can see you at all times.
That's so weird.
And when you're pulling into the neighborhood, you'll notice that there are suddenly more cameras around.
That's so creepy.
In a residential neighborhood.
That's so creepy.
You'll also start to take note of people just hanging outside of their houses wearing purple shirts. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So when I had gone, we've gone twice to this little overview place. The first time we had gone, we had driven up, and we're standing out kind of looking, and there's the street kind of tees off of one of the major streets, this little side street to go to the overlook. At the end of that street, so here's the T, and then there's a house right here across the street. There was a man in a purple shirt outside doing his lawn. We went to leave, and then the wife was outside, and they were standing there talking to each other, both wearing purple shirts. Thought that was weird.
That is weird.
The second time we went, they were both outside again, doing yard work.
Huh.
We had gotten out of the car, we're looking over the overpass, and we're kind of like pointing things out. And then by the time we were getting in the car to leave, the house, so not the one with the security, but the other one, somebody was starting to come out onto their driveway like they were going to come talk to us as we were pulling away.
Oh.
Yeah. So after pulling some records, all of the property is owned by a corporation, which consists of Cindy's friends, a group of women in Cindy Baranco's inner circle.
Okay.
Yeah. This is all except for one lot. However, the owner of that lot is also a member of the Morehouse and
course.
a teacher.
Oh, God.
So
Of
I don't know if
course.
they like just couldn't hold that for whatever reason and sold it to him. Yeah.
Huh.
The other strange part is that the house with all security cameras and the house with the couple out front,
Uh-huh.
they were both purchased pretty close to the same time and immediately paid off their loans. Immediately. These are like almost $1 million loans.
That's
Immediately paid
sus.
off. Like, what?
That's sus.
What do you mean? In these convenient spots where you can see anyone coming or going and recording them? Huh. That's a little weird. So I did do my due diligence. I reached out to Morehouse. I let them know, hey, we're doing a podcast. I would love to know if you want to make a statement.
That email you got back is still wild to me.
Oh, I might just post it because
Do
it
it.
was the back and forth was hilarious. I don't do well with being bullied or
no.
being told what I can and cannot do.
Yeah.
So here we are. Clearly they declined to say anything. And my biggest thing, here's my thing. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. So why would making a statement to a tiny little podcaster like me make a difference?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you were to ask a religion or an organization like a school to, like, give a statement, they would be more than happy to discuss what they are and what they do unless they have shit to hide.
Yeah.
Like, if we were to go to, what's the preacher's name in your Catholic churches?
What?
What are they called? What are
Priests?
the priests? If we were to go to the priest at your church and be like, yo, can you tell me about what you do here? They'd be like, hells yeah, let me tell you about it. They probably wouldn't say hells yeah, but
Probably not, no.
they would be more than down to talk about it. So it's a little sketch that you're like, no. And they told me that I would have to take a class to find out about it. So essentially they want me to pay money to take a class.
But they also wanted to know what you already had, too.
They wanted so bad to know what I had. And I'm like, oh, you'll see.
It's like, listen to us.
Here is the podcast where I said everything that I have. I have more, which I might post in a special episode later on. But yeah, this was like the main points. And this was my shortened version of it because so much ties in and I have so much knowledge of this in my head now that it'll never leave me.
Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I would get a text message or a call from Jess being like, oh my God, guess what I just found out? Oh my God.
Because
oh
I
my
couldn't
God.
wait and hold it in. It's so bad shit.
But the fact, like, this has been going on for months.
Probably since
We started this.
yeah.
Like, even before we started this was like back in December.
It's a real interesting case.
You started this
It's
shit
wild.
like back in December.
Because, okay, mind you, I love cults.
Yes, I know you do.
I hate saying that because that's like me saying I love serial killers. I like the mentality
okay.
of cults and
It's
like how they
okay.
come about.
It's okay because anybody that you ask, you know someone has their favorite serial killer. You know someone has their favorite cult leader.
Exactly.
Like,
and it's like the mentality that I'm interested more than anything.
exactly. It's like we don't condone what happened. It's just the psychology of it that we're interested in.
Exactly. So I love cults. I also love knowing things that people don't know.
You like knowing things.
I love a secret. I love
Exactly.
knowing a secret.
Exactly. I was going to say, I was like, you love trying to figure out things that you probably shouldn't know.
Yeah. It's the, which I'm probably going to make promo TikToks using this sound because I found it the other day and I loved it. It's the, wait. When you're putting like 2 and 2 together on things that like you probably shouldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
when I
gosh.
realized that like some of my friends have broken up and I just send like the, hey girl, you good? Because like I've put 2 and 2 together, but they haven't said anything else on social media. So it's like, Hey! So last part of this, I know this is already long, but I had to put it in.
Okay.
So this is, again, another quote
from
the Morehouse.
Okay.
They have a Q&A section. One of the questions is, are you a cult? And so essentially they're like, no, but also why would somebody say that they were? Sketch. Second of all, they said, we've heard it said that in some way a weed is a flower you don't like. A cult is a group you don't like. I mean...
And that's it?
That's kind of what they said about it. So they were essentially like, no, we're not a cult. But why would somebody say that they're a cult? Also, you just call... It's like the whole being like, well, you just call a cult to anything that you don't like. And it's like, no. I see the right idea of where you were going with this. However, my issue is the indentured servitude.
Yeah.
The being unclear on how you're protecting children.
Yeah.
Cindy literally being 16 and seeing no issue with how Vic child groomed her.
Yep.
The, like, proclivity to just throw young adults into situations.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's definitely not a cat.
Definitely not.
But you know what? I'm just going to leave it up to our listeners on if it's a cult or not.
You can make the decision.
You can make the decision. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get sued. But I'm just saying it's a little sus.
Just a tiny bit.
So that was the Lafayette Morehouse / Purple People.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. And now I feel weird because all this research that I have done is now done, and I will probably still research it in my free time just to baffle my own mind.
I mean, you still technically have another part to it, so...
That is true. That is connected.
Yeah, so it's not all
weird.
going to waste, or, like, not all going away.
That's true. That is true.
We just gotta wait a week.
Yes. Find out about all this sex cultiness.
So what?
Sex cultiness. This was a sex cult. The next one is...
I thought you said sex
cult.
cult penis, and I was like, what?
I mean, there are penises involved, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. But I was just like, okay, we're going with that.
That sounds like a title on Pornhub. Sex cult penis. It's like a term that you search, like, very specific.
Probably.
There's porn for everything now.
All right. Are we ready for our spooky fact?
No, but I just told you about all this sex cult shit, so I guess this is my penance.
All right. Do we want cerebral spinal fluid, severed heads, snot, or tumors?
I love that you give me options.
Yeah, you're
as
welcome.
if it's gonna make it better.
Yeah. You never know.
Severed heads. It's almost like getting head.
Severed heads? Okay. Yeah. So, you know how they used to have, like, executions by guillotine?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Until, like, what, the 70s, I want to say the last one was in France? Or something batshit like that?
Yeah. It was 1970. Weird. It was, like, or 1971, something like that. Early 70s.
So, there was an overlap of this cult starting and
That's
then
creepy.
using guillotines.
That's creepy. My parents were alive while they were still using a guillotine.
Same.
As an execution.
Which is
option.
so baffling because it just seems like so far away ago.
Right? But it wasn't. Well, I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Things I hated.
All right. So, in all actuality, the human head remains conscious for several seconds after it's been chopped off. The brain receives no trauma from the clean decapitation and may continue to still function until blood loss causes unconsciousness and death.
First of all, I hate it. Second of all, wasn't that a thing with Marie Antoinette as they talked about how she blinked even after her head got cut off?
So that's where my next part is
you
coming.
think you were going to tell me something about the French Revolution that I didn't already know? It's one of my favorite revolutions, right up there with the Russians.
The fact that you have favorite revolutions.
Not the American.
Anywho, for those who aren't history nerds, there have been many examples in history where a severed head has changed facial expressions and even tried to talk.
Tried to talk?
Tried to
sweet
talk.
baby angel, no!
Yeah, tried to talk.
Thanks, I hate it.
You're welcome. I hope it reminds you a little bit about Mike the Headless Chicken also.
Yeah, that was my immediate thought, and then I tried not to think of it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no thank you. So again, if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram, WTF is that pod, listen to us on all the places, share us with all the people, go down all the rabbit holes, and let's just like not get our heads cut off, because that's all bad whether you're a human or a chicken. You kind of need your head. Don't join any cults today. Bye. Oh, if I were gonna run a cult, it would be a sex cult.